Just cutting in here to take you live to Wagga Wagga in New South Wales, where New South Wales Premier Dominic Perrottet is speaking.
Having the great opportunity today with my parliamentary colleagues to thank a lot of the health staff, the nurses, the doctors, the frontline staff who have been doing an amazing job during what's been an incredibly difficult period of time. Just heard earlier talking to some of the doctors and nurses that here in Wagga, when hospitals around the state have been under pressure dealing with COVID, to have the elective surgery backlog reduced to zero earlier this year is a testament to the staff here at the hospital. And the state continues to provide significant investment. Obviously, we had stage 3 of Wagga Wagga Base Hospital open this year, and then next year the car park, 900 spots, will be open as well. So we want to make sure that wherever you live in this great state, you have access to the best healthcare possible. It was just recently that Joe McGurr raised with me the concept, the idea of doing something here in Wagga like we've seen at Prince of Wales, at Westmead, in terms of tying in training, education, research, as well as healthcare into unified precincts. And we put some funding aside for the business case work based on Joe's advice. We provided that funding. I think that, if it works, will be a great blueprint for regional health right across the state. And I think Wagga Wagga is central to doing that. Make some comments today just in relation to some of the challenges we're seeing as we move through this period across the state, and also not unique. Here in Wagga Wagga, the same challenges with testing that is occurring at the moment. I want to thank everybody for their patience and the sacrifices they're making as we're moving through this transition period. I want to reiterate again the strong message that please only get a PCR test if you are required to do so. If you are feeling unwell, or if New South Wales Health has contacted you, or you are required for interstate travel. We are still seeing many people in those queues who do not need to be there, and we want to get those queues shorter. We're doing everything we can. When I read reports this morning, the newspaper, of pregnant women having to line up in queues for testing. Well, that shouldn't happen. No one who is pregnant should be sitting in long queues. I spoke to the health minister this morning and asked him to fix it. My understanding is it is getting fixed today. But we will obviously have challenges as we move through this transitional period, and the government will continue to focus and change the settings and tailor them to where we need. Continue to have strong and constructive discussions with my interstate counterparts, the premiers in other states, in relation to this tourist testing, and continue to ask that it be removed. I want to thank Stephen Marshall for removing that test. It is clogging up the system. It is putting people in lengthy queues that are not necessary. And I note today that the Queensland government has removed that PCR test on day 5 once you've crossed the border. Well, we obviously would continue to ask here in New South Wales for our people who are going to Queensland on holidays. It's a great time of year. For the first time in a long time, we're able to see family again and holiday across the country. Please, can you reconsider that decision? Obviously, I continue to be in constructive discussions with Anastasia Palaszczuk in relation to that change. But if we can move that PCR requirement to a rapid antigen test requirement, that will significantly alleviate some of the pressure on the testing over summer. The other point I'd make is, right across the state, I want to thank everybody for the efforts they've made to get vaccinated, to be at first dose 95%. Here in Wagga, I think it's 98. Joe, I think it's 98% first dose, one of the highest vaccination rates in the state, if not the country, right here in Wagga Wagga. And they're the efforts that protect people and protect our families from the virus. So I want to thank everybody for their efforts. As I've raised last week, booster shots, obviously, if now with the Yatagi approval, are coming in at 4 months. So if it's been 4 months since your last second dose vaccination, you can go and get that booster shot. We ask that you do so as quickly as possible, particularly during this period of time. And if you look at where we're seeing right across the board, pharmacists and GPs, I want to thank them for the efforts they've made. Many GPs obviously go on leave over this period of time. I know many are making the effort to stick around to provide those booster shots. I want to thank them for that, and obviously acknowledge the work that the federal government and the Prime Minister has made in providing extra financial support for those doctors who are administering those booster shots. But also we've got 40 vaccination centres open right across the state to continue that work. So there are many avenues to get that booster shot, 4 months into second dose vaccination. That's the protection we need to get through this next period of time. And I'm completely confident that New South Wales will get through this period. We have gone through the last 2 years. It has been incredibly difficult. There are naturally going to be inconveniences and challenges as we move through this next phase. We'll continue to work through those settings and adjust those settings where we can to alleviate pressure in the system. But we will get through this difficult time together. New South Wales will lead the nation out of this pandemic, and the best thing we can do is get vaccinated, get booster shots, follow the rules that are in place, treat everyone with kindness and respect, and New South Wales will continue the great work that our people have done in leading Australia out of the pandemic. I'm now going to ask Bronnie Taylor to say a few words in relation to regional health more broadly, and then Joe McGurk. Thank you.